The president just joked about lynching gays and it barely registered as news. The attorney general has refused to answer questions about how his discriminatory policies will affect the lives of queer people. International violence against LGBT people continues to increase, and the governor of California gives us some much-needed good news. We'll have all that on Weekly Debrief. A big thanks to California Governor Jerry Brown, without whom we'd have very little good news this week. Brown signed 3 excellent bills into law. The first will require the gathering of information about employment opportunities to improve job access for queer people. The second makes it easier to change your legal name to the one that affirms your gender. And the third provides an option for non-binary gender on state ID. You no longer have to identify as male or female in California, although it remains to be seen how the non-binary option will be received by other states and federal officials. And now, the news that's a little less pleasant. This week, it emerged that Donald Trump joked that when it comes to gays, Mike Pence wants to, in Trump's words, hang them all. This isn't exactly surprising. In the past, Pence defended countries that execute homosexuals. And whether Trump's comments were a joke or not, the attitude of this administration certainly leads by example. On the same day that Trump's joke was reported, flyers appeared at Cleveland State University showing a person hanging from a noose with a message encouraging LGBT people to kill themselves. Also this week, Jeff Sessions appeared before Congress to answer questions about the impact of his policies allowing businesses to refuse service to queer people. But he didn't answer the questions. He just showed up to say that he hadn't thought about how the policies would affect queer people and that he might have some thoughts on the topic at some unknown future date. So let's all hold our breath for that. Internationally, attacks on LGBT people have been increasing in recent weeks. In addition to Egypt, there are reports of authorities rounding up and torturing queer people in Kyrgyzstan, Tanzania, and Tajikistan. It's probably no coincidence this is happening now. In the past, the United States would take a strong stand against such crackdowns, applying diplomatic pressure and sanctions to discourage the persecution of vulnerable minorities. But the president joking about the vice president hanging homosexuals, that sends a very different message. So, since there's no chance that American leaders will defend human rights abroad, it's up to citizens. This week's action item is to head over to outrightinternational.org. The group hosts summits, local events, and online training to help defend the rights of queer people all over the world. Click on Get Involved and you'll find opportunities to do more for international human rights than most people leading the country are interested in doing. And as always, keep sharing these videos to keep folks informed. Stay in touch at Matt Baum on Twitter and in the YouTube comments, and I'll debrief you next week.